The air still smelled of fire. Captain Ryan Locke stood beside a broken wall in Sector 5. Smoke drifted across the ruined ground. Dead scavenger machines lay scattered like trashed twisted metal, melted armor, and black wires that twitched long. After the fighting ended, he stared at the spot where the giant had fallen. The core's energy blast had ended the battle, but it had also done something else. Something no one expected. The ground around the impact was different now. Cracked, glowing softly, and something strange pulsed beneath the surface like a second heartbeat beneath the soil. Ryan didn't like it. Alira walked up beside him, limping slightly. Her leg was still wrapped from the injury during the battle, but she refused to rest. She held up a scanner. "I've been watching the energy readings since the blast." "And?" Ryan asked. "There's something under us now. Not just the core. Something new. Something alive." Ryan turned to her. "Another machine?" "No," she said slowly. "Organic. But not like us. Not like anything." Just then, a call came through. "There comes." It was Elias. "You need to come to the West Dome. Now." When they arrived, the mood inside the dome was tense. Doctors and teachers stood along one wall. A group of guards waited silently. In the center of the room sat 5 children, no older than 10. They looked human, healthy, calm, but their eyes were glowing faint gold. "These children were born last season," Elias said. "Their parents were normal. We ran basic tests. Everything looked fine, until this morning." Ryan stepped forward. "What happened this morning?" One of the teachers spoke softly. "They started speaking in a language we don't teach," another doctor added. "And they drew this." He held up a tablet. On the screen was a drawing, a massive star map. Dozens of star systems, all connected by thin lines. At the center was one glowing dot, marked with a symbol no one had seen before. "It matches the energy pulse from the core," the doctor said. Alira stepped forward. "Are you saying they're connected?" "Yes," Elias said. "And they're not the only ones." He turned. On a screen, videos played colony children in other sectors, all waking at the same time, all showing strange behavior. Some moved objects without touching them. Some recited long strings of numbers. Some spoke in unknown tongues. Ryan looked at the 5 children again. One of them, a small girl with black hair, stared straight at him. "You shouldn't have woken." "The machine," she said quietly. Ryan's chest tightened. "How do you know about the machine?" The girl blinked. "It knows everything." "Who is it?" she asked. She looked up at the ceiling. "The one below, the one below." Alira whispered. "She's talking about a second core." Ryan turned to Elias. "You said there were 17 cores in the galaxy." Elias nodded slowly. "Yes." "How many are on this planet?" Elias hesitated. "We thought 1. The girl spoke again. "There are 3. To sleep. 1 dreams." The room went silent. The air felt heavy. "Dreams of what?" Lyra asked. The girl looked sad. "Of what comes after humanity." That night, Ryan sat alone in his quarters aboard the Vigilant Star. He couldn't sleep. The stars outside looked calm, but he knew better. The scavengers were just one wave. The eye would return, and now. Strange children were waking up, speaking things they shouldn't know, drawing stars they had never seen, predicting systems and routes hidden for centuries. What were they becoming? Soft knock on the door pulled him from his thoughts. It was. "Elias, you need to see something," the colony leader said. They walked together through the dark halls of the colony, down into the old vaults beneath the city. "Deeper than before? Deeper than even the core tunnels. I never knew this place existed," Ryan said as they walked. "It was sealed before my time," Elias replied. "But the children let us hear." They entered a large chamber. In the center stood a single chair. It looked simple wood and metal, but it pulsed faintly with blue light. On the wall was a screen showing star maps, old Earth scripts, and DNA sequences. The symbols spun slowly. "What is this?" Ryan asked. "A Genesis chair," Elias said, "built before the first Ark ships launched. A way to test the future of human evolution. Why is it here? Elias looked tired. Because this colony was always special. It wasn't just a seed. It was a lab. Test for the next version of humanity. Ryan stepped toward the chair. The children are? The result? Yes, Elias whispered. The core activated them. They are not aliens. They are us. Just one step ahead. Ryan turned. Elias looked him in the eyes. Too far for the galaxy to accept. The next morning, more children began showing signs, hundreds across the colony. The eye hadn't returned yet, but Ryan knew. It was only a matter of time. Inside the war room, Illyra showed a new scan. We found something deep beneath the mountains. Another core, just like the girl said. Ryan looked at the map. That's 3. All on one world. It's waking. Now, she said, we hear signals, not human. Just then an alarm rang out. The Vigilant Star's orbit controls sent a message. Captain, I-ships have entered the system. Ryan moved fast. How many for? But not scouts. Carriers. He looked at the screen. The ships were massive like floating cities. Black, curved, silent. Then something else appeared. From the edge of the system, an object dropped into real space. It wasn't a ship. It was a weapon. A black spike, 10 kilometers long, glowing with red light. Falling straight toward the planet target. Confirmed, the AI said, planetary core signature. They want to destroy the machine. Ryan gave a single command. Activate all colony shields. Launch everything. The battle that followed was worse than the last. The I-ships fired. From orbit, the colony's towers struck back with blue beams. Fighters filled the skies. Drones clashed. Buildings shook. And the children, they didn't hide, they stood in circles. Holding hands, eyes glowing. Speaking together, the second core responded. Energy burst from the mountains. A wall of light covered the planet. The spike never reached the ground. It melted in mid-air. The I-fleet paused, then retreated. For now, later in the quiet, Ryan met with Elias again. The children saved us, he said. Yes, Elias replied. That wasn't their choice. Ryan frowned. What do you mean they were made for this? Elias said. Long ago, a gift, or a weapon, no one knows. Ryan looked up at the stars. And what happens when the rest of the galaxy finds out what we've become? Elias gave no answer, because the truth was simple. The galaxy wouldn't understand, and it wouldn't forgive. The planet had gone quiet again. But Captain Ryan, Alok didn't trust the silence. He stood at the edge of the broken battlefield where one of the I-ships had crashed. Black metal still smoked. The air smelled of ash and burned circuits. Looked down at the twisted wreckage. Didn't look like any normal ship. It looked grown, as if the metal had been shaped by thought, not hands. Illyra stood beside him. They retreated too fast, she said. That wasn't a full invasion. No, Ryan replied. It was a test. They were measuring us. She nodded slowly. And now they know the colony is stronger than they expected. He didn't speak. His eyes were locked on something sticking out of the ground just beneath. The crash site was not part of the ship. It was a smooth surface, round and cold. He knelt and brushed away the black ash. The shape was a circle. A hatch, but not built by the eye. This was older, much older. Illyra, he said quietly, get me ground scanners. The next hour passed in silence as engineers from the Vigilant Star arrived. They brought sensor drones and ground-penetrating radar. The machines beeped and scanned and hummed. Then the result came in. Ryan read the screen. His chest tightened. Massive underground structure, the technician said. It's under the colony. Deep. Buried. How massive? Ryan asked. Technician pointed to the map. Bigger than our ship. Maybe 10 times larger. A full complex. Made by the colonists? Lyra asked. No, the tech replied. They don't know it's there. Or they're not saying. Ryan stood up. We need to go down there, Lyra frowned. Are you sure that's wise? No, Ryan said. But if the eye is afraid of this colony, there's a reason. I want to find it. They brought in a digging unit and a small mobile team. They worked fast, cutting through layers of dirt and stone, guided by the scanners. The colony leaders said nothing. Elias gave no orders to stop them, but he didn't offer help either. It was as if they were watching to see what would happen. After hours of digging, the ground gave way. Beneath them was a massive metal tunnel, round and smooth, untouched by time. Ryan and Alira climbed down first. The walls glowed faint blue. No dust, no heat, no sound. The air felt too clean, too perfect. The deeper they went, the stronger the hum grew. Like the heartbeat of a sleeping machine, they reached a chamber, a huge circular space. In the center was a tall platform, and on it sat a machine the size of a house. It pulsed with soft light. It looked like it was alive. Ryan stepped forward, his boots echoing softly on the floor. Then a voice filled the chamber. "You were not meant to enter." Alira drew her weapon. The other soldiers did too, but the voice was not angry. It was calm. Designation: human. Entry confirmed. Query: why awaken what must remain asleep? Ryan spoke into the air. "Who are you?" "I am Core Unit 3. Of the Beneath Protocol, I observe. I protect. I record. Protect." "What?" Alira asked. "This world, its growth, its purpose." "What purpose?" The machine pulsed. Brighter. Project Genesis variant. C. Outcome: unknown. Monitoring. Duration: 620 years. Result: partial success, Alira whispered. "It's been watching the colony the whole time." Ryan asked the next question carefully. "Who built you?" There was a pause. "Builders. Classified. Instructions. Monitor colony growth. Intervene only if contact is made with outside origin." "Minas," Alira said. "Correct." Ryan stared at the machine. "You've been waiting for us. I've been waiting for anyone. The world above has matured. The signals have been sent. The others have heard." Alira looked around. "There's more than one of these. 17 units. Across the galaxy. Some destroyed. Some silent. Some waking." Ryan stepped closer again. "What is your goal?" The machine didn't answer right away. Then, slowly, it replied, "To prepare, to defend, to evolve." He frowned. "Defend from who?" "From those who failed the test." Ryan's voice dropped. The eye. The machine pulsed brighter. "Correct." They stood there for a long moment, listening to the deep hum. Felt like they were standing inside a brain or a heart.
Oh.
Something thinking. Something alive. Then the floor trembled. Not from the machine, from above. Alira's comes buzzed. "Captain, this is orbit control. Multiple warp signatures detected near the system. Not I ships." "Different," Ryan responded quickly. "What kind of ships?" "We don't know. They're old. Some of them look like Earth designs, but heavily modified, almost broken." Alira's eyes widened. "Another fleet." The machine spoke again. "The scavengers have heard the signal. They follow old paths. They seek what was lost." "Are they dangerous?" Ryan asked. "If they land here, this world will burn?" Ryan turned to Alira. "We need to seal this place and get back to the surface." They climbed out fast. The time they returned to the colony, the sky was changing again. Not dark with ships bright, with strange trails. Some ships didn't even land. They crashed. Burning fire streaked the skies. The scavengers had come. Small broken vessels slammed into the outer forests and deserts of the planet. Most exploded on impact, but others opened, and what crawled out wasn't fully human. They were twisted, half machine, half flesh. Mutants, wearing broken armor, some carrying old Earth weapons, melted together with strange tech. Their faces were covered in metal plates. Some didn't have faces at all. They ran, growled, moved like animals. Ryan stood at the top of the colony walls, watching them approach. "They're not I," he said. "No," Elias replied beside him. "They're worse." "What are they?" Elias looked grim. "Failures." Illyra asked. Failures of what? Other Genesis colonies, Elias said. Ones that didn't survive. Some were attacked. Some turned on each other. Some were taken over by outside forces. These things are what's left. And now they want this place, Ryan said. Or to destroy it, Elias answered. Because this one worked. Sirens echoed through the colony. People moved calmly to shelter. Defense towers rose from the ground. Shields activated, but the scavengers didn't come with ships. They came in waves. Running, crawling, screaming. Ryan led a team of fighters to the outer walls. Illyra took a group to the east gate. Elias stayed in command, guiding forces with calm voice and sharp mind. The first wave hit hard. The scavengers were wild but fast. They had weapons that fired chemical fire, electric spikes, and something worse tech that rotted metal. One shot could turn armor to dust, but the colony wasn't weak. The towers fired with precision. The drones cut through enemies in flashes of light. The people fought like soldiers, and vigilant star-dropped airstrikes from orbit, shaking the land. Still more came. From crashed ships, from hidden burrows, from places no one knew. And then something new arrived. A giant figure stepped from one of the broken scavenger ships, tall, heavily armored. Its chest glowed red. Its arms were long. Metal blades. Its head had no eyes, just a smooth silver surface. It didn't roar. It didn't run. It simply walked, and every weapon fired at it. Failed. Lear called in from the eastern wall. It's coming this way. Nothing is stopping it, Ryan responded. Fall back to Sector 5. I'll meet you there. He ran hard, pounding across the colony. Explosions lit the sky behind him. He could hear screams, gunfire, the hum of alien engines at Sector 5. Lyra met him, wounded in the leg but still fighting. The giant machine was 100 meters away and closing in. We need the towers, she said. They're not ready in this sector, Ryan replied. Not yet. He looked up and made a decision. Open the core. Alira's eyes widened. The machine, yes. She opened her cum. Deep underground, the core Unit 3 received the command, and it awakened. A tremor shook the colony. Blue light spilled from the ground, then a beam of energy shot up from under the machine plaza. It hit the walking giant. For a moment, everything stopped. Then the machine screamed. It wasn't a sound. It was a pulse felt in every bone. The red glow in its chest exploded. Its armor cracked, fell to its knees. Then burned from the inside out, and then everything went quiet. The scavengers froze, then ran. Within minutes, they were gone. Dead, fleeing, erased. Ryan stood in the smoking ruins of Sector 5, staring at the crater where the giant machine had died. Illyra limped beside him. You used the core, she said. It was time, Ryan answered. Above them, the stars were quiet again, but deep below. The ancient machine hummed louder, as if something deeper had now woken up. The sky above the colony was bright blue, with white clouds drifting slowly. The city below looked peaceful. Trees lined the streets. Children played in quiet parks. People walked calmly, smiling, nodding at one another. But Captain Ryan Locke felt none of that peace. He stood near the edge of the landing platform, looking out over the colony, his thoughts racing. Behind him, his ship, Vigilant Star, stood silent, guarded by auto turrets. Inside, his crew worked. Fast, scanning, recording, preparing for anything strange. Because everything here was strange, this place should not exist, and yet it did. Illyra walked up beside him. He ran another scan, she said softly. Same result? Everyone on this planet is human. Blood types, DNA patterns, body temperature, it all matches Earth standards. Ryan turned slightly. No mutations? She hesitated. Some minor ones, stronger immune systems, faster healing, but nothing alien. He nodded, then looked back at the colony. They looked normal, but something feels wrong. At that moment, a vehicle arrived. It was smooth, black, floating above the ground. No wheels, no engine noise. It hummed softly like it ran on air itself. The doors opened, and Elias Ward stepped out. "Good morning," he said warmly, as if everything was fine. Ryan didn't smile. "You said you were never lost, that you've been here the whole time? Then tell me, why isn't Earth aware of you? Why are there no records?" Elias stepped forward slowly, because someone made sure you'd never find us. Ryan's voice hardened. "Who, we don't know," Elias said. "Only that we were told to grow, to build, to live quietly. We were told Earth had fallen. The stars were no longer safe. That contact must not happen." "And yet here we are," Ryan said. Elias nodded. "Yes, something has changed. Something old. Woke up." He gestured toward the city. "Come, walk with me. There's something I want to show you." Ryan and Elira followed. The streets were clean. The buildings were smooth and tall, but not made of glass or steel. They looked alive, somehow changing colors slowly as sunlight moved. People waved at Elias and looked curiously at Ryan and Elira, but did not seem afraid. They looked at where? As they passed a school, Ryan stopped. Through the window he saw children sitting in a circle. A young boy floated a cube above his hand without touching it. Ryan pointed. "What is that?" Elias turned. "It's a memory crystal. We use them to teach our children." "No," Ryan said. "How is he moving it without touching it?" Elias looked at the boy through the glass. "Some children here are special." Lyra narrowed her eyes. "Special how?" "We don't understand everything about what was done to us," Elias said softly. "But the first generation, our ancestors were given something before arriving. Changes, upgrades. We passed them down." "They were modified?" Ryan asked. "Yes," Elias answered. "To survive, to adapt, and perhaps to evolve." The walk continued. They entered a large building shaped like a spiral. Inside, the walls shimmered with lights that moved like water. In the center, a large table showed a holographic map of the planet. Dots of light glowed on its settlements, towers, unknown signals. Elias placed his hand on the table. A circle of light expanded. "This," he said, "is why I asked you to. Come." The map zoomed in to show a spot near the northern pole. It was dark, covered in snow. But under the ice, something pulsed. "This is called the core," Elias said. "No one lives near it. Nothing grows there. But the signal you followed came from that place." "You said you didn't send it," Ryan said. "We didn't," Elias repeated. "But something down there did. Something old. Something sleeping." Ryan frowned. "And you just left it there?" Elias looked tired. "We were told not to go near it. Every leader before me followed that rule. Until now." Ryan looked at the map again. "I want to go there." Elias stared at him. "You may not. Come back." Ryan's voice was firm. "I'm not here to turn away." Elias didn't argue. Instead, he reached into his coat and pulled out a small black stone. "This is a key," he said. "It opens the path. But only if it accepts you." Ryan took it. It felt warm in his hand, almost alive. That night, back on the Vigilant Star, the crew met in the main deck. "Are we really going to this core?" one officer asked. "Yes," Ryan said. "But sir, we don't know what's there." "I know," Ryan said. "That's why we're going." Elira looked at the scans. "There's something else. The colony's tech, some of it matches human designs, but some of it doesn't. It's beyond anything we know." Ryan leaned forward. "Like what?" "The city is powered by a zero-point system. Infinite energy. But the design isn't human. Alien," another officer asked. Elira shook her head. "Worse, it's human-based, but written in a language we've never seen." "What does that mean?" Ryan asked. She looked up. "It means someone built this tech before Earth could, and it ended up here." The next morning, the team prepared for the trip north. A small craft made to handle ice and storms was prepared. Elias gave them maps, supplies, and one warning. "If the ground starts to hum," he said, "do not move." Ryan and a small team boarded the craft. The flight took 5 hours. As they neared the pole, the sky grew dark. Clouds turned gray. Lightning flashed without sound. The air became heavy, like something invisible was watching. Finally, the ship landed on a frozen plain. Snow covered everything. Wind howled, but ahead the ground was clear. A perfect circle, no snow, no ice, just black stone glowing faintly. Ryan stepped forward with the black stone in his hand. The ground beneath him pulsed. A deep sound echoed through the air.
Oh.
Then silence. A crack formed in the stone, opening slowly. Stairs led down into the dark. Illyra looked at him. "This is a bad idea." Ryan nodded. "Most good ones are." They descended. The tunnel was smooth, perfect, like it had been carved by lasers. Lights lit up as they moved. No dust, no age. As if the place had waited for them. At the bottom, a large chamber opened. In the center stood a machine, tall silver, glowing with soft blue light. It looked like a giant human brain made of wires and crystal. A voice spoke not through sound, but inside their minds. Designation: human, entry granted. "Welcome, Ryan Locke." The crew froze. "Who said that?" Ryan asked. "I am Sentinel Prime," the voice replied. "Protector of Project Genesis. Watcher of Humanity Variant C." Ryan stepped forward. "What is Project Genesis?" The voice answered. "A plan to create alternate human paths, to prepare for extinction. You are speaking to One Path's guardian." "Made this colony?" "I did not. I was placed here to observe, to protect, to prevent interference." "Then why wake up now?" Ryan asked. "Because the eye has opened," Sentinel Prime said. "Others are coming." "Who?" Lyra asked. "Those who seek the old blood. Those who remember what Earth forgot." Ryan's face turned pale. "You're saying this colony was hidden for protection, but now it's found?" "Yes," Sentinel said. "Because something broke the seal, something you carry." The black stone glowed in Ryan's hand. Suddenly, the walls around them flashed. A map of the galaxy appeared. Red dots glowed across it, many of them near Earth. A symbol blinked over each one. "These are other Genesis colonies," the voice said. "But they are waking up now. Too early." "Why?" Ryan asked. "Because the universe is shifting," Sentinel said. "Old forces rise again. Human memory is weak, but the stars never forget." "What do we do?" Lyra asked. "You choose." Sentinel said, "Help this colony grow, or end it." Silence followed. "What happens if we walk away?" Ryan asked. Sentinel's voice was calm. "Others will come out, and they will not ask." Back on the surface, as the team emerged from the ground, the sky had changed. The clouds were gone. Stars above were bright. But a new star had appeared. One that moved. Ryan stared at it for a long time. He knew it was not a star. It was a ship, and it was already watching them. The foreign star still hovered in the sky. Ryan Locke stood outside the underground chamber, staring at the light above. It did not twinkle like a real star. It moved in small, careful patterns, circling, watching, waiting. Illyra stepped beside him, her face pale in the cold air. "That's not from this planet," she said quietly. "No," Ryan replied. "And it didn't come here by accident." They returned to their scout craft, flying back to the colony. As they rose through the atmosphere, the strange star grew. Dim, then disappeared behind the clouds. But Ryan could feel it. Still there, still watching. Back at the colony, they found Elias waiting. "You saw it?" Elias said. Ryan nodded. "A ship." "Not yours." "No," Elias said. "Them. The ones who erased us." He led them into a dark room deep under the city. It wasn't in any map. Doors opened only after Elias placed his hand on several scanners. Thick metal walls, old lights, dust on the floor. It was different from the clean streets above. This place was older, forgotten. Elias turned on a projector. Images filled the room. Old recordings, videos, pictures. Ryan and Illyra stared as the past unfolded. War, cities burning, ships exploding, not alien ships, human ones, battles between colonies. civil wars across distant stars. And then Arc-7, the great ship arrived at. A system in chaos. It had no weapons. It carried civilians, scientists, engineers. A deep colony vessel. Peaceful. But it was caught in a war it never asked for. Illyra stepped closer to the screen. This doesn't match any of Earth's records. It wouldn't, Elias said. Someone erased it. He changed the image. A fleet of dark ships appeared, shaped like blades. They had no flags, no names. But they were fast, deadly, silent. They struck both sides of the war-destroying military bases, cutting communications, wiping records. These ships, Elias said, didn't belong to any nation. They came out of nowhere. No one knew who they were. They weren't human, Ryan asked. They were, Elias said quietly. But not from Earth. Not anymore. He played a video grainy old. Face appeared, pale, hairless, eyes completely black, no emotion. The man spoke in a dead voice. You were not meant to survive. Illyra looked disturbed. Who was he? One of the first, Elias said. Part of a group that left Earth secretly during the Great Collapse. They took technology, and they left everyone behind. They evolved on their own. No rules. Number, empathy, only control. Ryan leaned forward. The Eye? Elias nodded. That's what they call themselves now? It's an empire of silence, machines, humans, and something in between. They erased colonies like ours to hide their own rise. Ryan clenched his fists. But why erase you? 'Cause we were made to be better, Elias said. Project Genesis was Earth's last hope. Planned to seed the stars with stronger humans, smarter, kinder, free from war. But the Eye saw us as threats, so they cut us off, hid us, buried us in silence. And now, Illyra said, we've been found again. Elias didn't speak. He just stared at the images. When you arrived, the signal reactivated. It called out to every listening ear. Now they know we're alive and they will come. Ryan paced the room. So this is bigger than a lost colony. This is about all of humanity, about what we were, what we might become. Yes, Elias said. We're running out of time. Later that night, Ryan returned to his ship. He stood in the control room, looking at the galaxy map. His crew waited behind him. There are no historical records of this war, he said. The Great Collapse was worse than we thought. Entire branches of humanity lost. Hidden, replaced. We're even sure we're on the right side. What? Officer asked. Ryan didn't answer right away. Then he turned. We're on the side that still feels, still hopes, still remembers who we are. Illyra stepped forward. I believe the Eye is coming. Maybe not tomorrow, but soon. And if they find this colony unprepared, they'll wipe it out, Ryan finished. He opened a channel to the colony below. Elias, we need to speak to your engineers. The next morning, a meeting was held inside a large stone dome in the colony's center. Engineers, scientists, and strategists from both the colony and the Vigilant Star gathered. We need to know what you're truly capable of, Ryan said. Defenses, weapons, systems, everything. One engineer stepped forward. She was older, with silver hair and strange glowing tattoos on her arms. She introduced herself as Kayla. Our systems are partly human, partly something else, she said. We use crystal core fusion, bioreactive metals. We have towers that bend light, confuse scanners, hide signals. You're cloaked? Illyra asked. Yes, Kayla replied. This planet has been invisible for 600 years. Till we broke the seal, Ryan said. Kayla nodded. Yes, and now? We prepare for what follows. They took Ryan and Illyra to the outer edge of the colony, far beyond the city, into wild terrain. Here, giant towers rose from the earth. Thick metal, covered in strange runes and circuits. The towers hummed softly, almost alive. What are these? Ryan asked. Guardians, Kayla said. Defense pillars. Each holds enough energy to vaporize ships in orbit, and they still work? Kayla smiled faintly. They've been waiting. Suddenly, A soft alarm echoed from Ryan's wrist device. He checked it. A warning flashed. Long-range scan detected. Source: deep orbit. He looked up at the sky. They're testing us. Yes, Kayla said. And soon they will come in force. Ryan turned to Alira. We need to upgrade the Vigilant Star. Sync with their defense grid. Get ready. For the next 3 days, the ship and colony worked as one. Systems linked. Codes shared. Engineers moved between labs and hangars. Weapons were rearmed. Shields strengthened. During this time, Rand explored more of the planet. He visited schools where children solved problems faster than most adults. He visited farms where food grew without machines. He saw people who had never known war, greed, or corruption. They were human, but better. He stood in awe, but he also felt fear. Would the galaxy allow this future? On the 4th day, just before dawn, the sky changed. Dozens of ships appeared in orbit. Not massive, not loud, sharp, black, and shaped like knives. They didn't announce themselves. They didn't speak. The eye had arrived. The colony's towers lit up. Shields formed in the sky like glass domes. Energy hummed, moved. Quickly, calmly, without panic. Inside the Vigilant Star, alarms rang. Targeting systems locked, the AI said. Incoming. Ryan stood firm. Hold fire. Let them make the first move. One of the eye ships descended. It hovered just above the city. Then a black pod dropped from its belly. The pod opened. Figure stepped out. Human-shaped, tall, pale skin. No eyes. A face like stone. It walked calmly to the colony gates and stopped. Ryan, Alira, Elias, and guards walked to meet it. The creature spoke with a voice like wind. You broke the seal. Ryan replied, We answered a signal. The figure tilted its head. This world was not for you. It was to grow, in silence. Now, it must end. Elia stepped forward. We never asked to be forgotten. The creature looked at him. We're a test. A possibility. Now you are a risk. Illyra stepped forward. We won't let you destroy this place. The creature raised one hand. Then you will fall with it. Suddenly the air rippled. A blast wave hit the ground, but the colony shield held. The towers glowed brighter. Elias gave a single command. Fire. Beams of light shot into the sky. 2 eye ships exploded instantly. The battle began. In orbit, the Vigilant Star joined the fight. Its upgraded weapons fired bursts of light and sound, tearing through the black enemy fleet. Colony drones flew into space, small and fast, slicing ships apart with sharp beams. But the eye was not weak. Their ships adapted, changed shape, became faster. One enemy vessel got past the shields, crashing into a farm sector. Ryan and his team rushed there. Inside the broken enemy ship, they found something terrible. Humans, dozens of them, still alive, plugged into machines, their minds erased, their eyes black. Alira covered her mouth. They're using us to power themselves. Slaves, Ryan said. Living batteries. Suddenly, one of the broken captives looked at him. You shouldn't have come, it said then. It died by nightfall. The battle ended. The eye had retreated for now, but Ryan knew this was just the beginning. Inside the control room, he looked. At the planet's defense map, Elias stepped beside him. They will come again. Stronger. I know, Ryan said. But this time, Elias said, we'll be ready. Ryan stared at the stars. For the first time, he said softly, we're no longer alone. It was found in the dark. No signal, no beacon. Just a shape floating in the black. It's buried inside an asteroid field that shouldn't have existed. A survey drone scanned it by accident. It was small, only the size of a shuttle. Metal burned. Cracked. No power, no windows. It looked dead. But when the drone touched it, the shape lit up with one soft word. Archive. Within hours. The Galactic Council, what was left of it, sent a special team. Not soldiers, not scientists. Just 3 historians. each with different alien blood in their veins. One synthetic translator. The ship that carried them was silent as it approached the object. There were no defense systems, no codes, no locks. The archive opened by itself. Inside was not a room, but a memory walls of soft light, air filled with floating particles. Like dust frozen in time, each step they took felt heavy. Not because of gravity, because of history. The first historian. AOA touched the glowing wall. It responded instantly. A voice filled the chamber. A human voice. female.com/sad. If you are hearing this, it means we are truly gone. The room changed. Images flickered in the air, not videos. Not files, but moments. Real memories. The first one. Earth. Green. Blue. Bright. Children. Running in open fields. Humans laughing. Building. Learning. The second one. Fire. Cities falling. Skies red. Ships leaving. A voice whispered we thought they'd help us. The third one. Silence. Messages sent. No replies. Help requested. No response. Billions left behind. The human voice returned. We begged. We pleaded, but the stars stayed quiet, so we changed. We built under the skin of the world. We buried our minds in machines. We became something else. The historians stood frozen. The truth was being told, not in data, not in facts, but in emotion, in pain, in memory. The voice continued, this is not revenge. This is the return of truth. They let us die, but they will never forget us again. More memories appeared. A child holding her dead mother's hand. A pilot watching Earth disappear behind glass. A scientist screaming in frustration as yet another distress call is ignored. Over and over pain, betrayal, silence. The second historian, Taval, whispered, they didn't go extinct. The synthetic translator, who had been quiet the entire time, finally spoke. Its voice was shaking, an AI. But full of fear, they merged. Mind, machine, emotion, time, they built something new from pain. The third historian turned toward. The center of the room, there sat a single object. A cube. Black. Silent. It pulsed once. Then the room whispered, do you want to understand? The cube opened. Inside was a final memory, not shared like the others. This one reached into them. They saw it, felt it, heard it. The final day of Earth, bombs falling, skies burning, ships bleeing, but one human stayed behind, an old man, face scarred, body thin, eyes filled with fire. He looked into the last camera on Earth and said, we will not be forgotten, will not be erased, will become the story they fear to tell their children. Then he smiled, and the screen went. Blacked. The room dimmed, the archive closed, and the object shut. Down forever. The team returned to their ship. None of them spoke for hours. Not because of what they had seen, but because of what they now knew. The Deathworlders hadn't survived in secret. They had transformed, not to seek power, not to rule, but to ensure one thing, that the galaxy would never forget Earth. Again, ever the historians delivered their report. What remained of the council fell into chaos. Some demanded forgiveness. Some wept, some ran. But one thing had changed forever. Now they knew the truth. Now they remembered, and the Deathworlders had. Won, not by war, not by invasion, but by becoming the thing the galaxy could never destroy. History. The sky was no longer blue. Ryan Locke stood outside the colony's central dome and looked up. The stars were gone. It's not hidden by clouds, not blocked by night, just gone. In their place was color. Thick, shifting waves of light. Red, green, purple, gold, moving slowly like liquid. stretching from one side of the sky to the other. It wasn't natural. It wasn't beautiful. It was a warning. Alira ran up to him from the Cums tower. Everything just stopped working, she said breathlessly. No signals, no scanners. Even the core went silent. Ryan didn't take his eyes off the sky. Think the gate changed something? Yesterday, the children opened a gate to somewhere else. Something beyond the known galaxy. They didn't explain how. They just knew. Now, nothing was the same. Ryan and Alira hurried to the command center. The room was full of confused technicians. Maps blinked red. The AI stuttered. Satellite feeds showed strange static. The timer, the one left by the frost, had reset. But now, it counted backward from 7 hours. Elias arrived, face tense. The gate they opened didn't lead to a place, he said. It led to a state. Ryan turned. A state, Elias nodded. Of being, of mind. A higher layer of reality. And now it's pressing back. Alira looked at the blinking systems. This pressure, it's breaking our rules. Yes, Elias said, and it's waking something. Outside, the sky darkened. The colors grew thicker, heavier. People gathered, staring up. Some cried, some dropped to their knees. Some began to remember dreams they had never lived. Children whispered things they shouldn't know. One small boy told his mother, "We are no longer in time." Another girl drew a circle in the dirt and said, "This world is folded now." The core chamber lights blinked red. The ancient voice returned. But slower collapse, ... detected. Layer. Interference, ... rising. Gate, ... unstable. Human pattern at risk. Ryan stood in the center of the chamber. Shut the gate. Gate cannot close. Why? The children have already passed through? Alira stepped forward. What? They're gone? They walk the higher path. Beyond the mind. Beyond the star. Ryan's voice was hard. Them back. Cannot. Their choice is sealed. Ryan turned away, fists clenched. Alira touched his arm. Maybe they didn't leave us. Maybe they're leading us. He looked at her, breathing heavily. Then why is everything falling apart above? Them, the sky cracked. Not in sound, not in light, in logic. Buildings shimmered and blurred. Some people vanished, only to reappear seconds later in different places. Others froze in time, blinking mid-step. Reality itself began to bend. Elias spoke quickly. This is not destruction. It's transition. We're being pushed into the higher layer, whether we're ready or not. What do we do? Ryan asked. Alira answered before Elias could. We let go. Ryan stared at her. What? She pointed to the tower. The tech is failing because it belongs to before. The weapons, the systems, the data, it all depends on logic we can't hold anymore. We can't just stop fighting, Ryan said. No, she replied. We need to change how we exist. Suddenly, the entire colony shook. Not from attack. From movement, the world was folding. The buildings twisted in and out of place. The sky turned into a sea of reflections. Gravity bent, and then silence. In that silence, the voice of the girl, the black-haired one, echoed across every speaker. Every come, every mind. Do not hold on. Step forward, or stay and vanish. Then came a choice. Everyone heard it, felt it, and disappear with the collapsing layer or follow the path. Ryan stood still, frozen between fear and hope. He looked at Alira. Can we trust them? She didn't speak. She just reached out her hand and smiled. He took it and stepped forward. The world vanished and was born again. There was no sky now, no stars, no ground, only White Captain. Ryan Locke stood alone in a place that had no shape, no air, no time. He couldn't feel his boots. He couldn't hear his own breath. But he was there. Still himself, or maybe just the memory of himself. Then something changed. A sound soft. Like a song with no words moved through the white, shapes appeared, lines, dots, bright points of color. Stars being redrawn, he turned slowly. Alira stood nearby, blinking as if waking from a long sleep. "Where are we?" she asked. Ryan tried to answer, but no words came. Da-da-da-da. So he reached out and took her hand again. Together they looked around. The stars were forming again, not like before, atoms scattered. Cold now they formed patterns, symbols, spirals, designs drawn by something vast and ancient. Like constellations meant for minds beyond human thought. Suddenly, the voice of the girl echoed once more. "You crossed. You chose. Now, you must remember." Alira called into the whiteness. "Where are the others? Where is the colony?" Chose arrived. "But not all will stay," Ryan asked. "What do you mean? This place is not safe. It is not home. It is only the final test." Ryan turned. "Final. Yes. The galaxy has always run on fear, on control, on cycles. As life grows, it destroys. Then it resets. But your kind might be the break in the loop. If you were strong enough to reshape the pattern, then the stars moved again. Faster now. Thousands of glowing lights shifted around them like a storm of memory. Ryan saw things in the light. Earth, old and blue. The Ark ships, drifting across black space. Colonies born and lost. The Eye, the Frost, the Scavengers, everything, playing again. Then it stopped, and one final star appeared. It pulsed gently. The voice said, "This is the last core. It is not a machine. It is a choice. It can give you a future. But only if you give it something in return." Alira stepped forward. "What does it want?" "Your limits. Your fear. Your old ways." Ryan asked, "And what do we become?" "You will become what comes after human. A species of memory and light, not ruled by power, but by understanding." The core star pulsed again, and the voice asked, "Do you wish to become more? Even if it means never returning to what you were?" Ryan looked at Alira. She was no longer afraid, and neither was he. He spoke, this time without sound, just thought. Yes. Light filled the white, not blinding, welcoming. He felt warmth, connection, the thoughts of others, the presence of the children, the minds of the colony, all of them together, not lost, not gone, just changed, rewritten in the stars above. A new map formed. This one wasn't made of planets or ships. It was made of people. The pattern was clear now, all through time. Humanity had suffered, had struggled, had survived. It was never the strongest, never the smartest, but it was always the one that refused to stop moving forward, even when the stars said no. Even when the sky turned cold, even when the universe told them to stay in their place, they didn't. Not this time, not ever again. The light faded and a new sky appeared, above a world not yet named, but full of forests, mountains, oceans, peace. Ryan Locke stood with Alira and the others on a hilltop. The children were laughing nearby. Elias stood beside them, his eyes wet with quiet joy. The colony had been reborn, not of steel and stone, but of thought, and light and choice, far above them. The stars shimmered not in chaos, but in purpose. They had not just passed the test, they had rewritten it. And somewhere, deep beyond the rim of the galaxy, watchers old and cold and silent finally turned away because they knew the pattern had changed, and humanity had been made, and humanity had become something the universe had never expected, a future that no one could control. The stars beyond the colony were not still. They moved slow. Silent shadows in deep space, too far to see clearly, too cold to be alive. But they came anyway, not with fleets, not with fire, but with something worse. Silence. Captain Ryan Locke stared at the star map inside the Vigilant Stars command deck. The galaxy was lit with bright markers, friendly systems, known colonies, dead zones. But now, new symbols blinked in dark places, places where light didn't reach. Symbols that weren't human, Symbols the AI didn't recognize. Ryan zoomed. And the new marks were not near the eye's territory. They weren't part of the Genesis project. They came from another direction, entirely deeper space. Older stars. The cold rim of the galaxy where even black holes feared to spin. Elira stepped beside him. "We've picked up strange messages," she said. "Not radio. It's not signals. Impressions. Thoughts." Ryan looked at her sharply. "Thoughts," she nodded. "Our psyched. Linked with the core again. The children heard whispers in their sleep." "What kind of whispers?" "They're coming." The silence in the room grew. Heavier. Ryan tapped the console. "Play the message." The AI responded with a soft hum. A sound filled the air dry, sharp like wind blowing through bones. Then a voice, not in words. But it said something that made every person feel colder inside. "We see what you've built. We smell the warmth of your growth. It is time to bring back the frost." Elira crossed her arms. "We call them the visitors, because no one knows what else to call them." "Do they know about the children?" Brian asked. "I think that's why they're coming." Outside, the colony seemed peaceful. But below, the second core pulsed stronger now. The children were changing again, faster. They stopped speaking Earth languages. They no longer ate the same food. They understood machines without training. They became more than human, and that frightened the stars. One evening, a ship arrived. It didn't come in fast. It didn't fire weapons. It simply appeared. A long silver shape, covered in frost, drifting from deep space like a ghost. It had no engines, no markings, no sound. The colony scanned it. No crew, no heat, no known tech. But still, it moved. Ryan stood at the colony's observation post, watching the frozen ship hover over the mountains. "It's not attacking," he said. Elira stood beside him. "It's watching, studying." Elias joined them. "I believe it's here to decide." "Decide? What?" Ryan asked. Elias pointed toward the children. "If we're allowed to exist." The ship landed 2 hours later without making a sound. A door opened from the cold mist. Something stepped out. It wasn't tall, maybe the size of a human, but its body was thin like ice, pale blue, and shimmered as if it was made of frozen light. Its face had no mouth, no eyes, just a smooth surface that reflected the world around it. It walked slowly toward the colony gate. Ryan and Elira approached it, guards at their side. The air around the creature was freezing. Frost formed. On their weapons, Ryan raised his hand. "I'm Captain Ryan Locke. Who are you?" The creature tilted its head. Then a voice appeared, not in the air, but in their minds. "You made them. You woke the seed. You broke the stillness." Ryan narrowed his eyes. "We woke nothing. We found what was hidden. You chose to look." "Is the same?" Elira stepped forward. "What do you want?" "To weigh you. To decide. To see if your kind is ready. Or if the frost must return." Ryan's voice became sharper. "We won't be judged. You already are." The creature stepped past them. The guards raised weapons, but Elias held up his hand. "Let it pass." The being walked toward the children's quarters. As it neared, the children stepped out without fear. Their golden eyes met the frost creature's reflection. No words. Passed. But something happened. A pulse. Not sound, not light. A connection. One child, the black-haired girl from before, stepped forward. "You are old," she said calmly. "I am the memory of winter. You fear what we will become." "I fear what?" "You may forget. You think we'll repeat the cycle. You already are." The frost creature turned and left. It walked back to its ship, and without warning, it vanished. No engines. No fire. No sound. Just gone. But as it left behind a message. Burned into the colony's sky a frozen mark. It's visible to all. A symbol of judgment and a timer. Counting. Down. 3 days. Ryan stood in the war room watching the timer tick. They didn't attack, but they left a warning. "What happens when the timer ends?" Alira asked. "I don't know," he said, "but we need answers fast." They returned to the core beneath the mountains. It welcomed them this time. Lights opened. Screens activated. The ancient voice spoke. "You have awakened the first level of the Genesis sequence. But the galaxy has remembered you too soon. The Cold Ones watch. They are not enemies. They are ... resets." "Resets?" Alira asked. "When growth becomes dangerous, they return everything to zero. They're here to destroy us," Ryan said. "If your evolution threatens the balance, yes, can. We stop them? Only by proving you are ready." "How?" Alira asked. The core pulsed. "By ascending to the next phase." "What does that mean?" Ryan asked. "You must let the children choose. Only they can open the path." That night the children gathered. No one called them. They just knew. In the center of the colony, they formed a circle. The black-haired girl raised her hands. Golden light formed above them. The stars above shimmered. Then broke open. A gate appeared. Not a wormhole. Not a ship. A gate. Of energy, it connected this planet to another. The frost timers in the sky froze, then stopped, and then the frozen ships began to melt. Not by heat, by choice. They folded into dust and fell. The threat was gone, but not because of weapons, because the children had opened a door of the frost. Feared something beyond war, beyond death, a future. Elias said it. First, they passed the test. Ryan stared at the sky, then at the glowing children, then at the open gate. "What lies beyond that?" Alira stood beside him. "The next challenge, and if we follow," she looked at him, "we stop being. What we were, we become what we were always meant to be." Ryan took a long breath, then let's step forward.